We talk a lot about the future of artificial intelligence and how it's going to change everything. But have you ever stopped to ask who is actually building that future? Well, what if I told you it's being designed and controlled by a very, very small club? And that really gets to the core of it, the multi-trillion-dollar question. Who is in the driver's seat for the future of intelligence itself? As we're about to see, the answer is a lot more concentrated than you probably think.
So, who's in the club? The research we're looking at points to 5 and only 5 major players. You've got Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and of course, OpenAI. Right now, these companies essentially hold all the keys to the kingdom.
Okay, so how did they get so powerful? How did they build this impenetrable fortress around their work? It all comes down to what our source material calls the 3 moats of dominance. And trust me, these moats are deep and wide, making it nearly impossible for anyone else to get close.
Moat number 1 is just pure raw computing power. We are talking about a scale of computational force that is it's almost unimaginable. The kind of firepower you need to train these top-tier AI models is absolutely staggering. And if you want to put a price tag on it, get this. To train just one of these cutting-edge AI models can cost up to $10 billion. That number, all by itself, just slams the door on pretty much everyone else.
All right, moat number 2 is all about data. You know, data is the food that these AI models eat to get smarter. And these companies aren't just sitting on a lot of data. They're sitting on entire continents of exclusive, proprietary data that nobody else can get their hands on.
I mean, think about it. Google has decades of our search history. Meta has a literal map of our social connections. Amazon knows what we buy and what we want to buy. And as the source points out, this is the kind of data you just can't buy or create from scratch. It's one of a kind. And the third moat, this one isn't about silicon or servers. It's about people, human talent. You see, there are only a few thousand experts on the entire planet who really know how to build these incredible systems. And guess what? They've pretty much all been hired by these same few companies. So how do you get all the smartest people in the world in one place? Simple. You pay them. A lot. We're talking top-end salaries that can hit $2 million a year. Now, how is a small startup or university lab supposed to compete with that? The short answer is they can't. They're completely priced out. So there you have it, the 3 moats: compute, data, and talent. But okay, so what? Why does this matter so much for the rest of us, for the entire economy? Well, this is where it gets really important. It all comes down to a really clever move that the source calls a platform control strategy. See, they aren't just selling you an AI tool you can choose to use. No, they're embedding it directly into the platforms we already depend on every single day. Office, AWS, Google Search. The AI is becoming unavoidable. And what this does is it creates this powerful, self-perpetuating cycle. If you're any other business out there and you want access to the AI revolution, you have to pay a toll to one of these platform owners. It locks you into their world and creates a massive, recurring revenue stream for them. Now, this strategy sends huge shockwaves across the whole economy. And there are 2 big consequences we really need to understand. First, it can actually choke off innovation. And second, it makes almost every other industry completely dependent on these few giants. So let's look at this innovation strangulation effect. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're the undisputed king of the hill, what's your incentive to shake things up? You might even slow walk progress to protect your current businesses. Or if a feisty little startup comes along with a great idea, you just buy them. Problem solved. And you can see this chain of dependency forming right before our eyes. If you're a retailer, you're becoming reliant on Amazon's AI logistics. If you're a manufacturer, you probably need Microsoft's AI for your operations. In media, good luck being discovered without Google's AI. No one's really independent anymore. This all leads to a huge question. We keep hearing that AI will create these massive gains in productivity, but who actually benefits? The way things are trending, the economic value flows overwhelmingly to the AI platforms themselves, while everyone else, other businesses and workers, just becomes more and more dependent. Okay, I know, this all sounds pretty locked down. So the question is, what can be done about it? Let's explore some of the potential paths forward, and a key paradox that's right at the heart of this whole thing. And here it is, the innovation paradox. On one hand, a company like Google can literally outspend entire countries on research and development. That's a huge plus. But on the other hand, without any real competition nipping at your heels, what's the big incentive to chase those truly disruptive, risky breakthroughs?
So the research we're breaking down here points to three potential solutions. 1, data portability, letting you take your data and walk over to a competitor. 2, infrastructure sharing, requiring the giants to rent out their computing power at cost. And 3, public AI development, funding open source models to create a powerful, free alternative for everybody.
And we really need to think about these solutions because the stakes just couldn't be higher. As this quote puts it so well, AI will determine economic winners and losers for the next several decades. This is about shaping the future, not just the next fiscal quarter.
This all points to a really clear call to action.
The time to talk about this, to address AI monopolization, is right now. Not tomorrow, not next year. Because every day that goes by, those moats get deeper and those fortress walls get higher until they might just become impossible to breach. Which leaves us with one last really big question to think about. Is AI going to be a tool for everyone, something that empowers all of us? Or is it going to become the ultimate source of economic power for just a select few? That's the future we're deciding today.